Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing.
Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am so very excited to bring you my reading plans for January 2025. This is going to be my January TBR. So I do have a healthy stack of books here, and if I manage to read all of these, I plan to just mood read from my physical TBR. So let's go ahead and jump into the books that I have selected, starting with the Night Owl Book Club pick for January, which is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. So I do have a Patreon book club and you are welcome to join it. The link is always in the description box. And I did share a video of all of the books that we plan to read throughout the year. And this is January's pick. I'm very excited about it. We're starting with a classic. It is short. I've never read this book before. I've seen many adaptations. I have 3 copies of this book now, and I'm just so excited to flip through and look through all of them. I picked this one up, and this is what made me want to go ahead and read it in 2025. So the back of this one gives a little bit of a description and a little bit of the history of the story itself. So this one says, Peter Pan originally appeared as a baby living a magical life among birds and fairies in J.M. Barrie's sequence of stories, Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. His later role as Flying Boy, hero of Neverland, was brought to the stage in Barrie's play Peter Pan in 1904, which was transformed into the novel Peter Pan and Wendy in 1911. In a narrative filled with vivid characters, epic battles, pirates, fairies, fantastic imagination, Peter Pan's adventures captures the spirit of childhood and of rebellion against the role of adulthood in conventional society. So we are going to be reading this and discussing this at the end of January, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. Next up in my Patreon, I have decided to do a series read along throughout the year. There are 8 books in the series. I'm talking about the Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery series. So we are going to be reading all 8 books. The first 6 books are Anne Shirley's story, and then books 7 and 8 are her children's books, but we do plan to read those as well. My goal is to read 1 book a month and also watch the adaptation alongside reading the books, but I'm really looking forward to this. I have read it before, but I wanted to reread it to refresh myself before diving into the rest of the series. I have seen the old, like 1980s adaptation. I have seen the Netflix adaptation, but I'm just really looking forward to reading through the entire series and just growing closer to the characters in the story. If you don't know what this is about, it's about a orphan girl that goes to live with the Cuthberts, but they were expecting a boy to help Matthew, like on the farm and stuff like that. And they're not sure about her when she is the orphan that they receive, but Anne takes one look at Prince Edward's Island's red clay roads and the Cuthbert's snug white farmhouse with its distinctive green gables and decides that she's at home. So now she needs to convince Marilla and Matthew to let her stay. And I'm just really looking forward to diving into this and discussing it and tabbing it up and just reliving this wonderful story. For my in-person book club, I actually have 2 books that I need to read in January. So the first book we're going to be reading for our annual book club retreat is none other than Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. I have never read this book before, but I've seen the adaptation like several times. It's funny that my book club chose this because it was a series that I kind of had in the back of my mind as one that I would like to read at some point. But I do have plans to read the first book in January. Everybody should know about this, but we are going to be reading the book and watching the movie, and I'm so excited. The back of this one says, about 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how potent that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. So that is that one. fun. We'll see what I think of the books. If they're too emo for me, I probably won't continue in the series, but I think it would also be a fun ride, you know? So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm gonna be reading this with my book club. For our normal January book club pick, we're reading The Frozen River, which I'm really excited about because my friend Lena recommended me this book when we were in Las Vegas. She thought I would really like it. It's a historical fiction novel, but it has elements of like crime and stuff too. You're following this midwife. It's Maine, 1789, and this river freezes over, entombing a man in ice. And then Martha Ballard is summoned to examine the body. As a midwife and healer, her diary is a record of every birth and death, crime and debacle that unfolds in the close-knit community of Hallowell. Months earlier, Martha documented the details of an alleged rape committed by two of the town's most respected gentlemen, one of whom has now been found dead in ice. But when a male physician declares the death accidental, Martha is forced to investigate on her own. And it says, The Frozen River is a tense and tender story about a remarkable real woman who left an unparalleled legacy, yet remains nearly forgotten to this day. So, I guess based on a true story. Aw, I love the dedication. My mother taught me that midwives are heroes. My sister let me witness the miracle. My husband sat beside me and held my hand. For these reasons and 10,000 more, this novel is dedicated to them. That is so sweet. So I can't wait to read and discuss this with my book club in January. And as if that wasn't enough, I have decided to buddy read another book with my friend Jules from Jules Books and Things. We had so much fun roasting while we buddy read I Was a Teenage Slasher. So we decided in January we want to buddy read Christine by Stephen King. This is a classic, of course, and I'm so happy I have someone to motivate me to read it and get it off of my shelf. I did just recently like pick this up, but I'm excited to go ahead and dive right in, get it off the TBR. This is the classic story. It's set in 1978 in a middle-class suburb of Pittsburgh, and you have like two boys, this one girl, and then this car named Christine. It says it's a 1959 Plymouth. She's no ordinary car. White over red, two-toned survivor of a time when high-test gasoline was priced at $0.25 a gallon and speedometers were calibrated all the way up to 120 miles an hour. A time when rock and roll in all of its finest crude power ruled America. A time when speed was king. Interesting. And supposedly Christine is alive. So I'm really looking forward to reading and discussing this book with her. And I do plan to make another video of reading and sharing all of my thoughts. And then we also plan to watch the movie, which I'm really excited about because I've never read the book. I've never seen the movie. So I'm in for a ride. I did not mean to make a pun. I did not mean to make a pun, but it works. And if I have some more time in my reading month, I have two more books on my radar. The first being The Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I am going to be reading and discussing this with Jules from Jules Books and Things and Sav from Riveting Reads on my podcast, Talk Bookish to Me, in February. I will put the exact date here on the screen. I don't have a synopsis of the book, but I do love the book cover. I have read many Grady Hendrix books, so I'm looking forward to his newest release. I will link the Goodreads page so you can check out the synopsis in the description box. That way you can see if you want to read and tune into the discussion, but I'm looking forward to it and I hope you are too. But I may not read it in January. I may wait till February. It just all depends how my reading month goes. And then the last book that I possibly am going to get to is Till Death Do Us Part by Lori Elizabeth Flynn. This is the Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick for January. This one sounds like the thriller version of One True Love by Taylor Jenkins Reid. What happens when the husband you thought died years ago shows up alive? 10 years ago, June's beloved husband Josh drowned on their honeymoon. His body was never found. Now, June is finally ready to move on. She owns a natural wine bar in Brooklyn, is an and is engaged to a patient, supportive man named Kyle. She's excited to begin a new chapter in her life, enjoy a picture-perfect wedding, and start a family. But out of the blue, she sees him, Josh, her first husband. Is this just a hallucination caused by guilt that June carries about finally moving past her grief? Or is it possible that her husband never died in the first place? Dun dun dun. I love this cover. I really hope I can get to all of these books, but if I can't, you know, it's okay. It's okay. But those are the books that I am hoping to read in January. Let me know what you're looking forward to reading in the month of January down in the comment section down below. Go ahead and leave a blue heart emoji in the comments down below as well, so I know you made it this far in the video. But that's all for today's video. So I hope you guys are having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye, friends.